Hey, what's going on out there, YouTube? SEL0220. I'm back. I just want to kind of chill for a little bit before I go into what I wanted to talk about. It is actually video game related. Y'all saw me kind of have this huge rant about Spider-Man. I apologize if I sounded a little too passionate. Whether I know it or not, or realize it, Spider-Man is one of my favorite superheroes. Of course, Batman's always gonna be first. Superman is close, whatever. I mean, shoot, I ain't got my wallet, but Superman wallet. But I've always loved Spider-Man, so I can't go back. All I can do is rant and then move on. But yeah, I did want to let y'all know, like, I've been doing a lot of different videos, a lot of different projects. So yesterday I released out a lot of different videos all at the same time. I might start doing that a lot more because I have a lot more time to do videos in the afternoon times, and I have a camera now that's actually functional. So I apologize, it was kind of like all at once. But definitely I had a lot that I really wanted to talk about, and I definitely wanted to release it to y'all. Another thing that I think I might need to take care of is this thing is getting a little too loud. I live up in the DMV. I can't tell y'all specifically where, but it's always cold, and it's been super cold. And so it hasn't been, I think, 2 weeks. It hasn't gone 2 weeks without it not snowing. And so I thought to myself, I was like, all right, when it goes a week, the 3 weeks, at least 3 weeks, when it doesn't snow at all, and it's at least in the 50s on average, I'll cut it off. But I mean, it hasn't been that. But finally, last week, it snowed again. But no, I'm just joking. But yeah, I think I'm gonna actually cut this off because I'm starting to have like a Wolverine thing kind of going. And it's all everywhere. I like it, love it, but can't keep it because honestly, you don't want to see me like this.
What are you looking at, bub? We got beef. I'll make you beef.
Yeah, that person you don't want to see me like. So give me 1 second, and I'm gonna get up in my trusty time machine. I don't see Bill, I don't see Ted, but I'm gonna go take care of this real quick. That's better. Man, whew. Time travel, wave of the future. I can't tell y'all where I got my machine from, but all I know is time travel makes you hungry. But getting into it, my main subject I wanted to talk about was the Xbox One. I think I'm gonna do a segment on the PlayStation 3 and Sony's dynamic of my review for it, and not just my review for it, but the improvements I feel like it should need. But this one's not gonna be a review of the Xbox One. I'm gonna talk about a lot of things about it, but I'm gonna talk about more than anything, the improvements that it really essentially needs. So with the Xbox One, you've got a brand new Kinect sensor that's 10 times as sharp, 10 times as responsive as the normal Kinect that you had with the Xbox 360 unit. You've got an interface now that's a lot faster, your process is a lot faster. Even with the interface with the controllers, it feels a lot better. You've got bigger storage capacity. You've got games that look sharper than they ever have. Now, this is going against like comparing it between like the Wii U or the PS4, because I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna talk about what I've seen as far as the pros when it comes to the Xbox One. And I mean, when I play it, I can go and chat with my friends really easily and stuff like that. But there were some serious issues as well. I noticed when I actually use my friend's Xbox One unit, that a lot of times when I'm actually signing in my profile, which is another thing, before I go into that, if I want to go onto my friend's profile or not his profile, but on his Xbox, I can log into my profile and access any game that he has without any kind of issue, without any kind of profile related issues, and it saves my game data in addition to being able to let me play it. Before, the Xbox Live limited you from being able to actually do, I don't even have necessarily Xbox Live, but I can actually log in and be able to do whatever I need to do with his Xbox, even though I don't have Xbox Live, which is really good accomplishment, which is really awesome because you can take your friends and do whatever you need to do, you know? But what I found that was lacking is that when there's times comes when I actually log into my account or he logs into his and we tell the Xbox to turn off, it turns off like normal, but it takes forever for it to turn back on, and that is an issue. I mean, if you present that you said it can turn on at will, some people I've heard it works and then some people it just doesn't. I've also found that sometimes the game will completely freeze. The whole system will just freeze by itself, and you have to manually turn it off. And then, of course, you can't sit there and tell the Xbox on. It just doesn't work like that. Other things were the network connectivity. Network connectivity does work, but it does go in and out at times when it comes to picking where it is distinction between you got wireless and you got Wi-Fi. If they are wired, if they had like some kind of firmware that allowed them to figure out what is the best as far as the network connectivity and then automatically pick that, then it'd be fine. But where I feel like Microsoft needs to get their stuff straight is where it comes to the interface with the applications and with the games. You had before with the Xbox 360 unit, I can take my Xbox 360, I can stream stuff to my Xbox 360 straight from the share. Before I even had a Mac like I have now, I had a Windows computer, and Windows Media Player, I could go interface with my Xbox 360 right now, which I can't even do that with my Xbox One. And this is supposed to be new technology, you know? And even then, you also have the expansion of using external storage. So instead, if I don't want to use, for instance, the hard drive that comes with, or the Xbox One hard drive, and I can use any branched external hard drive, or if I have an enclosure, I can be able to utilize it with that. That is not a feature that is available to me. And the reason why I'm bringing up all these different things, I still have a lot to talk about, is because these are essential things that Microsoft are gonna have to attack in order to come against anything that Sony's bringing out with the PlayStation 4. Because right now the sales, I think they're at, what, 7 million? 7 million? It might be more than that, but they are crushing it. Now, Titanfall has outsold Infamous Second Son from what I understand, which is really good accomplishment on Microsoft's side, but that's it. A lot of people are associating more so with the PS4 because the platform seems like everybody's shifting to it, and everybody's looking at Xbox One and you're looking at the specs, and they're looking at when a game comes out, it's supposed to be 1080p for everything, but it's not. It's only, most of the time, you're looking at the PS4, and that's all people look at are the specs. They want to make sure their games are crisp. But for me, I'm even more, I have a bigger expectation levels than that. I have expectation levels that when I get on my Xbox One, that everything that I could do with my Xbox 360, that I can do with my Xbox One, and that's not true. Now they have added the feature of a Blu-ray player. Now, when I do my PS4 review, I know that PS4 is lacking in a lot of these things as well, but I'm talking about the Xbox One for right now. So if y'all have any questions or any things about the PS4 or Xbox One that y'all like or don't like what I'm talking about, please don't take offense to it. These are just things that I've noticed. So off the bat, they do have a Blu-ray player, but it's not a 3D Blu-ray player. So, from my understanding, it has the capability of doing 3D Blu-ray just like the PlayStation does, but they didn't add that into it. They didn't allow you to be able to do it. I don't know why. They just didn't add it. Even the chat capability, they've upgraded and worked that out a little bit better now, but now the chat ability is even more different because now you can't go and just do the stream chat with people while in game. You have to go and reroute to this, or if you're on Skype, then that's gonna be snapped to one section and then you got another application that's going. You can't just have that one party chat that's actually going and then switch back to like the regular game chat. And it's just really cumbersome trying to actually go interface back and forth. But my main gripe that I know for a fact, and I stated it when I did the Spider-Man rant, is that the Xbox 360 to compete to me with PlayStation Now, which is the PlayStation Now is going with a network kind of just like Netflix in a sense, to be able to play any PlayStation game. PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 streamed, okay? The way that you counteract with that, Microsoft, is you take the games that the people already have, even if they're Xbox, just regular Xbox games, not even Xbox 360 games, and you allow it to be pushed into the system, and there's an emulation that actually comes up and allows you to play on that 86 x86 product processing. And if they can do that, then it's a wrap. To me, I mean, they need to be focusing on that more than anything, because for me, being a fan, I want the game right now, but I'm not gonna get rid of my Xbox 360 with all the interfaces and all the things that I can do with my Xbox 360 by itself right now, and it can do more than my Xbox One can. It's the same thing with my PlayStation. It's the same thing with my PlayStation. Like I said, I'm not gonna go into all that, but the fact is that if they added these simple things like the Xbox 360 emulation, the ability to being able to do that, the interaction of actually having external hard drive. I mean, yes, you can go and listen to your music and your videos with the Xbox 360, but you cannot do that with the Xbox One. That's not a capability. I mean, even with the DivX related issues, that certain videos, certain things you couldn't watch. I mean, but just having that ability, it should be that everything the Xbox 360 had, the Xbox One should have and more. It's just like when you had the Xbox, you went to Xbox 360, you can see noticeably that everything the Xbox had, this Xbox 360 had and more. That's not the case with these next gen consoles, especially with the Xbox One. And to me, in order for them to truly compete on this market level, at the price margin of that, the reason why they had to cut $50 out, so now it's $449 instead of $499, because people were like, well, I'm not gonna pay that extra $100 for a Kinect. It's not about the Kinect. The Kinect itself works as a whole perfectly with everything. I mean, I could go and be saying, all right, let's go to ESPN app, and then instead I wanna say, snap to TV, I wanna look at TV physically. I can go and do that with my voice. That's so cool. I mean, the whole process behind the Kinect is so awesome, but they're not justifying the price, not necessarily because of the Kinect. The detraction is that they're not justifying getting the system to, for me to get the system, it has to be something that I'm associated with wanting. And for me now, those games, there's no games on the system. I mean, shout out to the gamer 2323. If y'all check him out on his YouTube channel, the dude is awesome in any kind of game review and game talk. But he has stated time after time that it is dry on these systems, and I've seen it. It's true. It's true. I mean, there's not much up there. And if I got a system today, I wouldn't be getting it for the games. I'd be getting it for the interaction. I'd be getting it for the game DVR. When I want to play a game, I go and do that. And I'd want to be able to play my Xbox games. I'd want to be able to play games like The Walking Dead that I have. I want to be able to play like my Max Payne. I'd want to be able to play any game that I have, like even if it's Grand Theft Auto, regardless if they got a remastered version coming or not. I want to be able to play my stuff right then, right now. I don't want to have two systems. I mean, that's just the case. So these are my gripes with the Xbox One. Do they have room for improvement? Yes, because this is all fixable through firmware updates. All of it. To be quite honest, I mean, they can say, oh, they've made statements now. I think what, April the 7th, they have made a statement that they're still considering doing emulation, which is, that's good. But they're like, it's gonna be so hard and I don't know how it's gonna work. I'm like, as a gamer, I don't wanna hear that. Just get it done. I mean, just get it done. It's like, take Grand Theft Auto for instance, and everybody played Grand Theft Auto 5, and I mean, story mode is by far the best story mode I've played in years. That's very true. The game online is awesome. It's very fun, but when it first came out, it was a flop because the servers were down, it was messed up, and everybody was like, man, it's not working. And then it finally came back up, and then they had all these kind of problems. They gave you all this money and all these different like missions, and then they allowed you to do the creation of the maps, and it was cool. And then they said, well, you're gonna get heists. You're gonna get heist missions. Kid you not, heists are still not there. And I mean, when you overpromise so much and these expectation levels are already here, it's just like when people think about Grand Theft Auto 5 now, it's they think of it as a letdown, but it's really not. It's really an amazing game. The online experience is really an amazing thing. But because they've been let down, then they're gone away from it. And so, I mean, I've almost given up on the whole heist thing, but this Xbox 360 transition into the Xbox One that is last gen to current gen has been, to me, I don't know. I don't understand why they wouldn't add all these different things. It doesn't make sense to me. So I want y'all to leave me your thoughts about what Microsoft could do to improve on the Xbox One. Do y'all think that I have some valid points about some of the things I feel like they should add? Or if y'all don't agree, I want to hear your comments about it. If y'all feel like the Xbox One is the perfect console or it's a semi-decent console, I want you to let me know. If you do not like the Xbox One and you feel like you have a whole string of lists that they need to work on, you don't think that they're gonna get to it, let me know, because maybe they might see this and they might actually go and do something about it. You never know. So anyway, hope y'all enjoyed my video. I know it's kind of weird, the time travel thing, and then pop up for Wolverine for a second. But I really hope you enjoyed my thoughts on the Xbox One and the improvements that need to be made. I do feel like the Xbox One has the potential to be a great console. Do I feel like there's some kind of conspiracy going on with the interface as far as everything saying it's not 1080p, and I mean, you looking at the specs for it and it's supposed to be capable of these things. I mean, 30 frames per second and 60 frames per second, that's whatever. I don't really care about all that. But when you're saying that a game, when it's done and made by the developer, it cannot be produced in 1080p, that doesn't make sense. There's something wrong with that. And so anyway, those are just my thoughts. If you like this, please leave a like below. If you like any of my other videos, please subscribe. I got more stuff coming. Oh gosh, I gotta tell y'all a spoiler. So I've got a couple of web episodes that I'm actually gonna make. It's an interesting story, and all I can say is BVS. And it's got actual actors in it, actual stars. I might play an interesting role in it. And it's gonna be interesting when it's done. That's all I'm gonna say. VVS, that's all I can say. Anyway, this is SEL0220. Y'all have a good night, good evening, good day. Later, everybody. You make beef. Oh man, my adamantium swords are kind of jacked up. Oh man, this is gonna be such a funny blooper. I was not about to cut the camera. You can best believe that. Anywho, yeah, man, it's freaking long. About to work on that magic real quick. Man. Dang. Anywho, you got